Guys, this is Mr. Josh CJ, and welcome to your F1 2023 driver ratings and team ratings for the season. In this video, I'm getting the drivers and the teams' marks for their performances over the 2023 season. Now, you notice in my football videos, I've started to add the players' images with what score I'm going to give them, but I will not be doing that in this video with the F1 drivers because I'm going to save doing that until the 2024 season. So this is going to be just like an old-fashioned video. So right, let's start off with Red Bull, shall we? Max 10 is got to be a 10 all day long. I mean, 19 wins all season. His lowest point to me was probably Singapore, where Red Bull failed to win, but 10 dominance, pure dominance, and I hope next season he has a bit of competition, but it's not Max's fault, it's where Red Bull have done a brilliant job. Sergio Perez, I'm going to give him a 4. I was going to go lower, but he still won 2 or 3 races this season, you know, winning in, I think it was Jeddah, Azerbaijan, and another street circuit, I think. But yeah, I mean, shocking performance, really, most of the season. His low getting knocked out in Q1 and Q2 a lot of sessions is a low point I can think for Sergio Perez this season. My team Ferrari, onto Ferrari, the Scuderia. Now, I'm not going to talk about my team too much because I'm going to do that for a separate video, but I will give Leclerc and Sainz a rating. Charles Leclerc, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think he's been very unlucky this season at times, but he's also made a couple of errors himself. His high points are getting on the podium. Low point is the mistakes he's making. He needs to rectify that. I mean, I gotta say, one of his lowest points has got to be Bahrain at the start of the season, where he was nailed on for podium and something went on the engine and had to pull out up to the side of the track. I mean, don't get me wrong, the reliability this year was much better for Ferrari. You know, we hardly had any engine failures, believe it or not. I mean, why couldn't it have been like that last season when we had a top car, but it kept suffering a lot of engine failures and that? It's just sod slow. But yeah, Leclerc 7 out of 10. Carlos Sainz, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10 for him as well. I thought he's very consistent. His high point was the win in Singapore, bringing an end to Red Bull's winning run. Low, I mean, it's got to be obviously where he's made errors in a couple of DNFs. So yeah, that's what I can say about Carlos Sainz. Mercedes, my driver, Lewis Hamilton, 9 out of 10. I mean, you got to give him 9 out of 10. He was outclassed by George Russell last season. He needed a response this season, and he did it. He proved me wrong. I told him to retire, and since then he's absolutely sat me down. So fair play to my driver. His high point is 6 podiums this season. Low point for me is Qatar, where 3 wide, admitted he was at fault, made contact with George Russell, and Hamilton ended up beached in the gravel. So, yeah, that's the only low point I can think of for my driver. George Russell, 4 out of 10. I mean, shocking by the male model. It really is. Nowhere near good enough this season, George Russell. Lewis Hamilton had his number most of the season. Only 2 podiums this season for George Russell. And his teammate has 6. That's nowhere near acceptable. He's got to up it next season. He really has. So, yeah, 4 out of 10 for me. His high points are the podium. Low points are mistakes he's made and a couple of DNFs he suffered. So, yeah. Yeah, he's got to improve George Russell next season. There are no excuses. A bang average season for that male model, honestly. McLaren, the orange papaya. Lando Norris, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. I think it's been a very solid season for Lando Norris. His high and the podiums he's got from McLaren, low has got to be in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. The first two races of the season were awful for McLaren. Oscar Piastri, I'll give him a 7 out of 10 as well. His high, getting on the podium. Low, again, is how poor McLaren were in Bahrain and Jeddah. Yeah, so Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, they were shocking McLaren. They really were. Alpine, frog legs, Gasly. I'm going to give him a solid 8 out of 10. I thought it was very impressive the first season at Alpine for Pierre Gasly. He had Ocon's number most of the season. His high was obviously getting on the podium at Zandvoort, where one of my subscribers went to the Dutch Grand Prix and one of his favourite drivers got on the podium. Oh, that has got to be the highlights of the season, honestly. But his low is obviously where both the Alpines took out each other in Australia, but no fault in their own, because that was absolute carnage. I can remember that. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for Gasly. Baguette legs, Ocon. I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. I thought it was a bit of a disappointing season for Ocon, I'm not going to lie. His high, scoring solid points. His low, underperforming. So yeah, that's what I can say about Esteban Ocon. Who are we on now? Aston Martin. I'm going to give Fernando Alonso a 8 out of 10. I thought he's very solid, Fernando Alonso. I really did. He did such a grand job, Fernando Alonso. I mean, getting them podiums, scoring points. His low season was where the Aston Martin was struggling. So yeah, that's what I can think of Fernando Alonso. Lance Stroll, 4 out of 10. I mean, absolutely abysmal sometimes, Lance Stroll. Body language all over the place. Looks lost, not interested, not motivated. Then near the end of the season, the last couple of races, he actually had solid races. But you got to be doing that for most of the season. There are no excuses. His high, scoring solid points. His low being so inconsistent. Yeah, so that's how I would sum up Lance Stroll's season. AlphaTauri, Yuki Tsunoda. I'm going to give a solid 7 out of 10, 1 for 1. I thought he did a superb job this season. I really did. His high, scoring some solid points. His low are some of the mistakes he's made. And obviously, just being a little bit inconsistent. But it's still been a solid season for 1 for 1. It really has. Daniel Ricciardo, I'm going to give him a solid 6 out of 10. I mean, you can't judge him too much because he wasn't really racing very often. So yeah, I think that's a fair score. 6 out of 10. His high being very solid, being back in action after being on the sidelines. His low is getting that injury where he was out for quite a few Grand Prix. So yeah, that's how I sum up Daniel Ricciardo. And also Liam Lawson as well. I mean, I got to give him an 8 out of 10. He was absolutely superb. And it's absolutely criminal how he's not on the grids for next season. Honestly, he was superb. Liam Lawson, he really was. His high being very consistent. His low, well, I can't really think of too many low points. I guess when he finished outside the scoring positions. Alfa Romeo, I'm going to give Bottas. Well, I mean, the Alfa Romeo driver is so disappointing. 2 out of 10 for Bottas. I think he underachieved massively this season. And Guan Yu Zhou, 2 out of 10. Both of them shocking. Really was. And Alfa Romeo finished. I mean, yeah, terrible season for them. Yeah, so 2 out of 10 for both of the drivers. Haas, I'm going to give Nico Hulkenberg an 8 out of 10. Very consistent. I was really impressed with Nico Hulkenberg. Yeah, really impressed. So, yeah, but, yeah, but it's very solid. His high being very consistent. Low was probably doing well in qualifying, but Haas terrible on their tyres. So, yeah, that's the only trouble for Haas. They need to work on that and finish last in the constructors, which that's not good for them. Kevin Magnussen, 3 out of 10. I mean, I thought it was a really disappointing season for Kevin Magnussen. His high was when he scored a couple points. His low, too inconsistent, honestly. That's how Aston became Mag. And finally, Williams. How good it is to see this team making progress. Alex Albon, 8 out of 10. I mean, it's got to be an 8 out of 10. I thought he was very consistent, Alex Albon. I really did thought he was very consistent. So, yeah, really good that by Alex Albon. His high, scoring loads of points. His low, probably I gotta say, maybe Abu Dhabi last race of the season. I thought Williams underperformed massively, but they still got that P7. And Logan Sargent, I think you know what scores come in. 0, absolutely 0. I mean, the most inconsistent driver on the grid this season, and how on earth he's got a drive for 2024 is shocking. It really is. Right, so that's the driver ratings. Team ratings. Red Bull 10, very solid. I mean, 19 wins for Max Verstappen and 2 or 3 for Sergio Perez. Just pure dominance by Red Bull. My Team Ferrari, now, I'm not going to say what our score is, what I'm going to give my team, because I'm doing that in a separate video. Mercedes, I'm going to give them a 7 out of 10. I mean, at times they were very inconsistent, but at times they were very strong. So, yeah, 7 out of 10 for them. McLaren, 7 out of 10. I mean, first half of the season, abysmal. Second half, superb. They really were. Alpine, 7 out of 10. I thought at times they were solid. Aston Martin, 7 out of 10. First half good. Second half drifted off. AlphaTauri, I'll give them a 6 out of 10. I thought they could have done a lot better, but near the end, it got much better for them. So, yeah, 6 out of 10. Alfa Romeo, I mean, 2 out of 10 for them. They underachieved massively. Haas, 5 out of 10. Strong in qualifying, but awful in the race with their tyres. And Williams, 8 out of 10. Superb. Getting P7 in the Constructors' Championship. So, that's the season ratings done. Join me over the winter, because I will be doing F1 videos on the odd occasion, and I will have my Ferrari season review later on this week. Bye bye.